Hello and welcome to another episode of Live Talks with me, Fawole. We have not the voice for the camera. We have the wizard. Woo! And we have Dubin, Chef Adoniz, Sinclair in the studio. Come on.
Much love for having me, yo. I really appreciate it, man.
Cool, man. Big up your chest. You're large every time, bro. Like, nothing but love. I'm happy on the studio. I'm excited about the interview. I'm full of energy and bubbles and all them things there. However, I'm upset that I can't see nothing from your glorious array of cooking on my table.
The food will come. That's a different conversation. That's a different kind of podcast in itself. We'll do something with food. I'll definitely grace you next time with food. Just obviously had to travel a bit of a way, so they want the thing to get cold, you know?
Oh, so, come on. And I appreciate you traveling as well. How far did you come from?
Kettering, Northamptonshire.
Kettering,
Northamptonshire.
Kettering, Northamptonshire.
Kettering, Northamptonshire.
Kettering, Northamptonshire.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah?
Even when you say it, the dialect changes.
You say, I have to change it. My lips couldn't keep up my tongue on it.
A bit higher, innit?
Yeah, come on.
Northamptonshire.
Kettering, I have a set again. Northamptonshire.
Yeah, past Luton and Bedford, up them ways there.
Yeah, so Luton, it's all right. Bedford, yeah. But if you want to know the real, come to Northamptonshire. Yeah. We're going to show you, man. Come on. Big up Northampton. Say it again. Fucked it up.
Big up Kettering, Northamptonshire.
That's it. Big up Kettering, Northamptonshire. It's like a mouthful because of the Kettering.
Definitely a mouthful.
Cool.
Kind of like a little tongue twister.
Yeah. What's it like there?
It's beautiful, bro. I bought a property out there, so I'm out kind of like slowing things down, like working in London, living outside London, and just having that balance between work life. So it's important to me. I'm a country boy at heart, but I live my whole life in the city.
Yeah. So are you from Northamptonshire originally?
I was born in Kettering, the town.
Oh wow!
And then I spent my whole life in London, and I feel like it's important for me to go back to where I begun.
Okay, nice. And what part of London did you reside?
Southwest Brixton. Southwest Brixton, Stockwell.
Brixton, Stockwell, big up Stockwell, Brixton, South London. You know what I mean? We've run it down for black people for years.
Come on.
For years.
Where is that? You know?
Yeah. What's the difference between Kettering and South London where you live?
The colour and the race, and it's different in the sense it's slower.
Okay.
Like I feel like South London and London's very diverse in like the people and the culture and the things you have, where down there everything is very much the same, like a little bubble.
Okay.
It's very backwards. They don't really like change down there. They don't really evolve so much unless they have to. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that, innit? They're in their own little world and they don't want to leave that kind of world. Where London, it forces you to evolve and you're always running for stuff and you're always kind of like on a hustle, where down in them areas people have a different way of life. Like things are slow and I kind of like it.
There's an urgency in London.
It's definitely
like an urgency, but an urgency that you get from the city. I think you'd get from like most major cities like Miami, New
London.
York.
We live in a world where we run for buses when another one's in 3 minutes time or another one's in 10 minutes. Where down there, the buses are every hour. So you miss that bus, you're waiting another hour. So people move differently.
Yeah.
Like when you down there, everyone moves slower. People are more courteous. Like everyone says hello. Yeah. Everyone asks how your day is in a supermarket. Where in London, you say anything like other than like get out of my way, and people just want to like just war you in it. Like people are different. People got time to have conversations and really get to know each other. Yeah. They're also very nosy too, but
what in Kettering?
Yeah. Everyone knows everybody. So when you're the new fish on the pond. Like people are like, who's that? Like, what are they doing here? Like,
but you said, that's got to be nice. It's got to be. It sounds nice because I'm from the old school as well, from the old kind of like where people used to know people. You used to leave your front door open. If you done something wrong, like your neighbour could tell you off or would tell you off, or it would definitely filter back to your mother at some point. And
my grandma never locked her door. She just keep the back door open. We used to be able to like play on the garden and play on the grass, and you only come in when the street lights came on. Like that level of life where you can't do that nowadays, how dangerous it is. But yeah, it's a whole different way of living. I feel like children and adults need that balance. You need to be able to have that balance between country life and city life, because if not, then you've got no disparities to work with.
Do you think the only way to get that sense of community now is to move or into the older kind of like societies that are in and around London that have still like historic have stayed in that have like kind of frozen in time or kind of slower than us? you think we can kind of do that stuff in the city?
It depends. It's a choice, though, isn't it? I don't want people moving to the countryside because they don't want to. I want them to move there because they want to, rather than they have to. I feel like nowadays what you're seeing in like South London or areas that are affluent, they're pushing us out to the outskirts of London or to the countryside. That's the difference between wanting to move out and then being forced out. Like I chose to move out of London because the house price is a lot cheaper, and I get more buck for my pound. Where when you're seeing in like zones 2, zones 1, people are being pushed out of their houses, pushed out of their areas, put in zones 4, zones 5, zone 6s because that's where they want to put you, because their areas are obviously better off for them. So I think it's got to be more of a choice rather than it's being pushed on you.
What would you say, like, because I want to talk to you about loads of things, like, but as always, when we start unpacking bags, start finding out other things about the people that I'm interviewing.
Of course.
So it's interesting about that you was born in Kettering and you moved to South, and your perspective on life. What do you think about the knowledge of those two arenas? Because some people are totally unaware. Like, people in Kettering are unaware of what it's like to live in London and have to live at that pace, and then you've got people in London who are unaware that you can slow down a bit and just look at the flowers.
You've got different bands of people. You've got people that are from the countryside that have never left. You've got people that have left the countryside and come back, or you've got people that have lived in the London and then moved to the countryside. So it depends what area you're in. You can't evolve unless you leave and come back. So if I stayed in Kettering or Wellingborough or Northampton or any of those areas, I know the whole life I would be living. I know what I would have become a statistic. Yeah. But by me leaving and coming back, I got a different perspective on life. Yeah. And I think that's important.
Yeah, definitely. So what about leaving and staying left? That wasn't for you, but don't you think there's space for that, for the growth?
Of course.
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to realize, what are you going back to? You left for a reason.
Okay.
Sometimes there's no point going back because there's nothing back there for you.
Yeah.
Where for me, I feel like I've got unfinished business, and because I want to live a different life, I have to go back. My family's still down there. My godkids are still down there. I've still got a life that was down there always. Yeah. But I choose to go to London as a chef, obviously, to do what I need to do. Yeah. Because in Northamptonshire, you don't have top-ended restaurants or hotels. You just got pubs, you got cafes, and then you've obviously got fish and chip shops. If I wanted to obviously make myself known as a chef or go on the career I had to go on, I had to leave what was comfortable to me and go where the opportunities were going to be. And that's what London is. London's the capital. It's the city. So anything you want to do, you have to go there and go search your riches.
You say more things can get achieved when you're down in London, basically. That's in a melting pot.
That's where everything's happening.
Yeah, yeah. I just think, as you're talking, I just get my pen out, because you're talking, you're really making me think, mate. You're really making me think. So I don't want to run away, because I want to run. I'll start asking you about food, because I get so excited about food. But so let's talk family first. Can you talk about family? Like, you got a big family?
I'm one of 6. I'm the oldest. I got 4 sisters. I got a gigantic family. Yeah.
Okay. Gigantic family. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
my
that.
family's so big, you only see everyone at funerals. That big.
Wow. And
we don't get married much, so it's normally a funeral setting. Sadly enough. Okay. I think I've been to 3 weddings in my life, but I've probably been to 10 funerals. Oh wow. In my existence. So yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss on those occasions. Sorry, excuse me. I'm thinking of what's happening around the world right now. It's happening in a lot of places around the world right now.
In what sense?
The youth are leaving the places which are proverbially stuck in time or moving slower than they want to, moving to the cities and not staying in the towns. And the towns are now having that loss of youth injection within the towns. So the towns are deteriorating slowly. Like, you know, like there's a lot of people just going to and staying in the city. Like, and I'm just saying, like, from my knowledge, I think there was a town somewhere in Italy or somewhere, they was giving you, or Norway or something, they'll pay people to come there. If you young people come there, there was incentives, like housing, cheap housing, certain money, but you'd have to stay there for a little while kind of thing. Like, yeah, you know about that? Yeah, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? Like, how the world is changing?
It shouldn't have got to that. I feel like a lot of towns and a lot of, like, small villages are not open to evolving. They're afraid of change. And change is part of life. And if you're not willing to change, then change can be forced on you.
They get abandoned. But then what about that beauty of that, because even though we're evolving, like you said like I'm going. You went to and went back. You if it evolved, you wouldn't have that to go back to, and that having that to go back to is nice and important. It is reflective.
It hasn't evolved though.
It hasn't evolved.
That town hasn't evolved. It's evolved where it needs to be.
Yeah.
So it's evolved in the sense of like there's more housing, there's more supermarkets, there's more kind of like things that are put in place. But when you see it, it's still very old. It's still very much of its time.
Yeah, I think that's good. Don't you think that's good though?
I love it.
Yeah,
because I love the dystopian reality of it.
Yeah,
Kettering, like they still have malls. They still have malls.
What's that?
Like a shopping mall. Like,
mall.
Yeah, they still have that concept of a mall. Like where you go in there and obviously have what a Westfields is now. Yeah. These towns still have their equivalent of it.
Yeah.
Kettering has one of the last remaining HMVs.
Oh, look at that.
And I love it. Like the fact that you go in there and you can still, I love being able to touch CDs, cut records, vinyls. It's one of the last ones that remain in the country.
Yeah.
And I love that that's still there.
Yeah.
And it's still there because the community keep it there. Okay. Because the rest of them have closed down.
Yeah. Because I'm a movie man. I used to like going in and seeing, like you said, seeing what you're picking and looking at stuff. I can't stand online shopping.
I hate it.
I can't stand online shopping. Seriously,
because I always have that fear that if the internet crashes or something crashes, you've lost it. Where when it comes to owning a CD or DVD, you own the thing that you've bought.
Yeah.
So the DVD player might not work, but you still own the product. That's it. Where if your cloud goes down, that's gone. Like it's literally you have to thing them up and hope that they can get your data back. And I'm not for that. I like to touch the things that belong to me.
Yeah. Wow. That's so profound, you know, because as you're talking and you're saying you like to touch the things that belong to you, it's a beautiful statement, man. We're being forced to evolve into different things where, like you said, that there's a nostalgia with when you bought the DVD, the CD, the video, the vinyl, and you've got it, and there's a certain, like, I remember films like
memories attached to things.
Yeah, like House Party. Remember House Party? You know the film House Party?
Of course.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 34, but I'm an old soul.
Yeah, my man. Like that, like there's certain films that I'll have on DVD. I remember when I bought them on DVD, or in my day you couldn't, things weren't so readily available to you. So you'd have to have either the long play video, it's got a bag of films on the video, and when the DVD started coming out, he was like, yeah, you got your own home cinema basically, and it was that. I've got so many DVDs at home.
But do you remember when there was no such thing as a DVD and you watched video and then the first advert for DVD came on the TV and it was like DVD, digital video disc. And you're like, what the hell is this? No one's gonna buy this.
Yeah.
And phased out videos. I remember that when you had a video and you watched it to the end and it rewinded itself.
Okay, yeah.
To the end. And if you watched it really and you could always tell it was a video that you loved because it was crispy.
Yeah.
Like, the bottom was crispy. Where it's just like, you go, this is a seasoned video.
Yeah.
Like,
you ever had a video stuck and the tape comes out? But it's one of your favourite videos.
And you had the pencil. And you had to do it slowly.
Come on.
Just like the tape.
Come on.
Kids don't even know about things like that.
Yeah.
Like, big TVs with a back. So like, a big TV with a back. Mate. Like, TVs were like, the weight of a sofa. Yeah. People don't like. This generation only know about TVs that are flat. Like, that's the no.
They're used to this mofo. They used to this mofo. Even the chunkier TVs now, the ones that have like this, they're saying no, they don't want them. But literally, literally, what we used to do to make our TVs work back in the day, you couldn't do to TVs today. No, we used to. Oh my god. Oh my god.
That's like that.
That's Ross Clark. My earbud. And I felt it in my hand.
It's built to last. It's good.
You know, you should. I did a TV there.
The side. And the aerial. You have the wire on the aerial too. Yeah, the hanger. And you used to push it out. With the foil.
Yeah. I don't know how people didn't get electrocuted. Like, we did some mad shit back in the day, you know. And that was we just got on with it. We just got on with it, and that was the fun of it. You'd have the hanger sticking up back in the TV. You make do. You'd watch what you want. You tune it in, and we only had 4 channels at a point as well.
That was it.
Huh? Black and white TV. Yeah, you remember black and white? I remember black and whites. But I remember.
So going back to your statement.
Go on.
I think the problem is that because technology has moved so fast and so quick, the new generation don't have appreciation of the things of old.
Yeah, they have.
So the villages are things of old. You don't appreciate old things unless you know of new things. You with me?
Yeah.
So
you don't appreciate old things unless you know of new things.
So for me, I love architecture. Like I love castles. I love things of like mega structures.
Okay.
I love the concept of a 100-man building a wall that still stands to this test of time.
Yeah.
So when I see an old village, I see something that's very much like seeped in history.
Yeah.
It's historic in a sense. When I walk through it, I feel that.
Yeah.
And the reason I have that appreciation is because I've worked in London. I've traveled the world. I've seen different things. So when I come back, I feel like I'm Moses, innit? Giving back to the people.
You said Moses?
Yeah, some people don't appreciate things until they go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like, is it down to the government in a sense to make the kids want to stay? Or do they have to go out there and do what they need to do and come back? Like
in these areas,
incentives don't work because I feel like
incentives don't work.
I feel like they don't work because you're not earning the incentive.
Yeah.
Like if they have to go to London, they have to go to London, and whether they succeed or fail, they have to come back. Whether they succeed or fail, and then they're gonna appreciate what they left behind. If you're out here just giving them money to stay, they're not gonna appreciate staying.
You know, I think you to me. You have chosen your life. You've lived in your life for yourself. I think it's important that people like take the plunge into whatever pool it is, in whatever concept it is, whether it's taking the plunge and saying, no, I'm going to get married and stay in this lifestyle and have this lifestyle. I want to travel the world, or I'm going to do this, go and come back, or I'm going to try some stuff. You know, like whatever it means for you. I think that today's world now, everything's getting so generic. It's a problem. So people are not like looking for their own ways of doing things and understanding things. They're going to the city.
They just want the easy choice.
Yeah, and conforming. So if they want to do it how you did it, I want to do it how they did it. I want to do it how they did it. They don't want to do it themselves, or they don't. There's almost, this is my interpretation, a lack of that individual mind like set, which you're talking about going, coming back. You proclaim, like saying Moses, I'm going to get you in the countries you've been to. You're a chef. You know that you couldn't have grown in that environment, but you wanted to grow, so you made your move to grow. Like, where have you been, like, chef-wise? Like, how did you, let's talk about your chef training.
Before we get into cheffery, where are you from?
Sorry, chefery.
Chefery. No, I like it. You see what
It sounds a bit like something else, though. That's what I said.
Chefery.
Some chefery in this.
I like it. My mum's St. Lucian and my dad's Jamaican, but I'm British born in it, so I'm homegrown.
Let me give you something. No. He wants to tell you something.
Exact same mix.
Woy.
Dad's Jamaican.
Love that.
Woyo!
Woyo.
Come on!
Now, all I was going to say is, do you think what you're saying about living in London and the countryside also resonates in the same
Loud,
way as
remember.
England and the Caribbean or any other country?
Okay, I'll repeat that so it's louder, so obviously they can hear.
Thank you.
So the question you asked is, do I feel like being Caribbean descent or having Caribbean heritage affects me over here in the UK? So I've been Jamaica and I've been St. Lucia, and I felt like an alien, like in both places. In Jamaica, they never make you feel welcome. They're trying to work out if you're British or you're American. From the moment they work out which one you are, that's how they're going to treat you. Once the moment they found out I was English, they treat me differently because Americans tip. Brits don't tip. What are we tipping you for? All of our items have tax in it. We're not paying you more for something that's already been taxed.
One more. It's 3 times, yeah? Come on. What are we tipping you for?
We live in the most expensive country in the world.
Yeah.
The only time we benefit from it is when we leave this country, really, because really as the world is not as expensive as the UK.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. But I'm just saying, you used to go to other countries and your pound would go so far.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that it's cheaper, it's just London's so expensive. So you go to other countries and you're living your high life because the cost of living is so high. And we're taxed for everything. So over there, I'd spend time with my family and spend time with my relatives, but they tell me not to talk. They're like, unless we're in a shop, don't say nothing. Because as soon as they hear your voice, we're on the roads, the price goes up. Always. So I can only speak when we're in a shop where our price is set in stone. Because as soon as they see, oh, London boy, like everything changes. So for me, I realized that as much as I want to have roots in the Caribbean or in Jamaica or in St. Lucia, this is my island. I know more about this island than any other island. So if we're going to get property, this is where we should be getting property. we know more about this government, this system, this property, all these things here. So when people say they want to go back home and buy land, what do you know about buying land over there? You know about buying land over here, but what do you know about buying land over there? What do you know about freehold? What do you know about freehold land?
Oh, yeah,
little things like that. Like, you're best off buying stuff here, setting up roots here, and then buying stuff over there secondary. Because this is, whether they want to believe it or not, this is our island. And we've been here generation-wise to say it is not.
Yeah, she said, don't put your eggs in one basket. You know what, I need 3 more. Chef Adoniz Sinclair. The studio at the same time.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. It's that. I think that's important. I mean, it's important to know where you come from and to know where you're going. Like you said about leaving Kettering and coming to London and going back. I can understand why a lot of our elders would have wanted to repatriate the countries we come from. I can understand why some of the younger people, even some people that are finding adversity within the predominantly white societies, as we could say it, want to go home and think it'll be better over there. But yet still, they have to have a comprehension of what you're saying. Like, this basically, this is us. Like, and it's not, I think it's important to, important to know where your people have come from and all of that. But it's also important to understand where you are, who you are, and what you want to do in your life. Because some people are going back home, preferably, and dying or realizing it's not for them. They're packing everything up and not having anything left to come back to here. And it's a problem, man.
Or getting scammed.
Yeah.
Like, there's one thing to go on holiday in a country, but there's another thing to live in a country. Yeah. You don't know what it's like to live in Jamaica on a daily basis. Yeah, you can go out there months on end, live your high life and come back. But you don't know what it's like to live on a day-to-day basis. And that's different. Living in a country and vacation from country is a completely different experience. And they're always going to treat you differently. They can accept you, but they're never going to truly accept you. Not one of them, innit?
Yeah. Like, you live there for a piece of time and you'll still be that guy from London.
Yeah, because your dialect's different. Your walk is different. Like, when you're over there, you're too clean. Like, you can't even pretend to be like them. Your hair looks too fresh. Like, you walk too fast. Like, they can see you from a mile off.
A lot, innit?
And they see money.
Yeah.
When they should see grind and grit. Like, when you go over to Jamaica, you're saving 2 years to come out to the Jamaica. Or you're sending, like, you're working your ass off every day to go on that trip. Not realizing that you spent all your hard earned that year to come out here to have a good holiday. Where they come over there and all they see is money signs.
Yeah.
They just think because you're over there and you're looking fresh that you must be living the high life over there in London. No, London's a struggle. It's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
And that's the same in Africa too.
Yeah.
You go to Africa and relatives are like, what have you got for me? What do you mean, what have I got for you? What have you got for me?
Hey, preach it, man. Let them know.
Most times when my family go to Jamaica and St. Lucia, we come back with an empty suitcase. Yeah. Because we end up leaving the clothes there.
Yeah.
Leaving the clothes there, leaving the trainers there, leaving those stuff there because they need it more.
Yeah.
But that's still something that you had to pay your hard-earned money to make and to earn.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about that then when coming from London and maybe because not to digress, I think there's some really valid points there. People need to hear what you just said as well. It's beautiful that we're talking about that. Because I know some people that will go home and they won't even tell their family they're coming home. They'll go to another state within their own country just to have that peace and enjoy the land, basically, which is a lot. You should be able to go and enjoy yourself, you know? The difference between London and the outer boroughs, same difference for me. Like, because they know if, as a Londoner going outside, back in the day,
you know.
Like, there's pantomime.
I used to spend every summer holiday in the countryside with my grandma, my aunties, and all there. And when you're from London, people know you're from London.
Yeah,
you talk a bit different. You walk a bit different. Like your back's a bit more straight. Yeah. When you're from the countryside, you got a little country slang to you.
Certain nuances.
Certain nuances. So like you get treated differently in a sense. So there's a difference. I feel like when you're from London, like you feel like you're better than people live in the countryside. But then when you come from certain parts of the countryside, people think you're better than people in the countryside. Like because my mum couldn't afford to take us on holiday because obviously there were 6 of us. We used to go on a lot of like UK trips, like staycations. So we used to go to like Isle of Wight, Isle of Man,
beautiful places.
We used to go to like the Lake District. We used to go camping.
Yeah.
So we went Scotland one year for Christmas up there, like in the cabins up there. And then you're going to these places and they don't know black people. They don't see black people. So when you're coming into their town, they're looking at you like you're some foreign being. Because they're in environments where they don't have to see you other than on TV.
Yeah.
Like, we're default set to go to other countries on holiday when we live in a country that's absolutely beautiful.
Definitely.
There's certain parts of the country where you look and you're like, you don't even think you're in the UK.
Yeah.
We have amazing forests. We have a rainforest. We have parts of the UK that like is like just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
But because we think to ourselves, let's go away on holiday to another country, let's do that rather than actually, I feel like what was good for COVID in a sense was the fact that people started to do UK stuff. People started to jump in their car and actually go up north or go up south and really explore the country, because one, you couldn't leave the country, and also you couldn't afford to, but you started to kind of like see different parts. So I think with me is I got to see that a lot. We used to go caravan holidays every single year to like Southend and Brighton. So stay in a caravan for like a week. Yeah. And then you're on a caravan site, you're the only black family. So the white family's looking at you like, what the hell are you doing here?
Mixing and mingling.
Like black people can't be in caravans.
Yeah, but you start learning about each other.
Most definitely.
I can't remember, I've been on one or two of them holidays, one or two of the UK kind of things with school journeys, family that my family's linked up to before. And just getting out and seeing it, it's just nice. I remember being called Gus. Like from EastEnders, like he said, "Mom, look, there's Gus in the shop." Like, and that was the only example of black people they had. Like back then,
I'm with you.
Like, I laughed as well. I didn't even took it because of the kid, and I know it wasn't malicious kind of things. I just took it.
Think about how many black people you had in something like EastEnders, where there was only black person like Gus. Yeah, do you get what I mean? Like that's what they'd see.
Yeah. I was just thought of something as you was talking. Now I've lost it. It's like you've got so many things to talk about in what you're talking. I just really love it.
I appreciate that.
It's the going and coming. It's the not being known from the town. Understanding the change. How do you think? Because the change, the multitude of variety is what is causing the confusion. I watched. You both seen it before, but there's a thing where you watch a school of fish and they're swimming. And a shark or seal wants to eat it.
Yeah.
But because there's so many of them, if they do a certain thing, like the shark or the thing's fucked because there's too many, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, they don't go, by the time it's ready, they're all gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of seeing that in the humans, like, as in COVID forced us to stop and look around because there's beauty here. We're so, I want to go to the beach, we want to go here, we want to go but we've forgotten what's right in front of us. We want to go to the pub, but there's family at home, you know, like we've got a back garden. And that kind of human nature of not actually appreciating stuff, like the minimalistic stuff and the amount of options we have now, it's a problem.
We have so much options, and it's not until certain things are taken away or certain things are shoved in front of us, we see them. I remember when I first went to New York and I was staying in Brooklyn, I'd go to a library, bro, and there's no books in the library. Do you know what that's like in an area that has no books? Because they know in a place like America, knowledge is power.
Wow.
So in obviously areas where they have lots of obviously black people, they're taking away the things that can help them escape their obviously reality.
Wow.
So in America, you're always going to see a trainer shop, you're always going to see a bookies, and you're always going to see some kind of fast food outlet.
Yeah.
They had books, but not many books. I'm not used to seeing a library have gaps. Do you get what I mean? Like in every area in the UK, there's a library. Whether you go to it or not, there's a library.
If you're aware of it, yeah.
Yeah. And you can go to a library. Let's just say, where do you live?
Me?
Yeah.
Around Camden.
Camden, yeah. You can go to a library in Camden, and if you want a book that's not in your library, they can send it to come from another library to your library and bring it to you.
Wow.
So they can even bring the book to you if it exists in the system.
Yeah. Look at that. I didn't even know that. I ain't been library in ages, man. But yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And libraries are these archaic environments where when the job centers were closing down, they started using libraries as a place for gathering. Libraries is such a hub. It's a place where you'd be able to do your homework.
Yeah.
Where else could you sit on a computer for free?
Yeah.
And do your homework and get knowledge?
Yeah.
And so you go to somewhere like America and you go to somewhere like New York and the libraries are empty. Like for books and education, because Martin Luther King and them people there showed that if you allow someone to read or allow someone to basically have some kind of vision, then they can change their fate. So I feel like we live in a world where there's too much, and because we have too much, we don't appreciate the simple things until it's taken away. the reason why COVID worked for the world is because you forced people into things. You forced people to not travel. You forced people you couldn't go out. People don't like being told what they can and can't do. So by doing that, you gave people a new narrative. People started to appreciate their gardens, their family, the concept of fresh air. Like the supermarket became the club. The first round of lockdown, the only place you can go was to a park and a supermarket. People were dressed up to go to the supermarket because that was the only place you could actually like socialize, talking to girls in the veg aisle. Like that was it. Like, so I feel like I'm a firm believer that
talking to girls in the veg aisle.
So until we are forced in certain situations, people are not going to change, and that's the sad reality of things. I feel like my generation is the last guard because your generation grew up on a whole different world and a whole different bracket of certain things. The things that you had to face, but we would never understand, ever. The levels of racism you had to face, the level of like the disparity of races in the sense of what you had to go through in this country, we would never get. Like, you come from a pardon era. Pardoners, like them thing there where like literally everyone put money in a there.
People still do it now.
I know, but it's different. But there's levels to it now. But you lot did the original thing, innit? And then you have
that was the only way for certain people to have money or to build and get.
You didn't have bank accounts.
Yeah,
you didn't have bank accounts. You didn't have ways of saving because they wouldn't allow you to have these things. And then my sister's generation, she's 18. She's that new generation. She's a generation that only knows of technology, only knows of social media. She doesn't know about dial-up.
What?
She don't know about dial-up internet, and you couldn't use a phone at the same time. Get off the phone, please. Like,
I mean, they don't know. You know about the rotary phone? You know about the rotary?
Yeah. My grandma had one of those.
I mean, we used to, my big sister and I, they used to lock the phone. So the rotary phone, used to put a lock on the phone. We used to take the piss, used to use the phone. We didn't even know how much I run up phone bills. I'm not proud of it, but yeah, I used to get on the phone talk. Yeah. And the phone would be running up, like BT will run out and it will come all itemized back. I'm like, it's just the phone. Okay, and it just started circling the numbers. I'm like, Ross. But when she circled the money that the numbers, fucking hell, mate, it was a lot. But anyway, I digressed. The rotary phones, we used to find a way to tap dial it. When my mum used to put a lock on the phone, I find a way to phone someone where there's like on the phone.
Your half turn.
No, not even half term. You know, when you pick up the phone and put the phone down, the thing that holds the thing, you know, if you got a phone in another room and someone picks it up, you can hear them pick it up.
Yeah.
So that you could do the numbers like whatever number is it. You had to do it fast, like the way you used to go to the and 0 was 10. And you see, I swear, where there's a will. There's always a way.
There's always a way.
And me, like you said, coming up, you had more time to explore in your mind or to get up to mischief and see certain things, trial and error, opposed to like your sister's generation now, where the minute they've got a spare, anytime they've got a spare minute or we've got a spare minute, we're not internalizing, we're externalizing, or we're trying to draw stuff from outside to feed us inside, where it's like eating McDonald's. It's not going to do it.
They're afraid to be still.
Yeah. They don't know how to be still.
The silence scares them. Like the thought of doing nothing for a sustainable amount of time is like, I'm bored, isn't it? Like, you don't have to always be doing something. You could actually just stop moving. So I feel like our generation is the most important generation because we're teaching your generation and we're teaching our generation below. Because we are in a position where we know what you somewhat came from and we know where they come from. I'm teaching my mum stuff. I'm also teaching my sister stuff. So I know I'm the beacon between the two gaps. Where the gap, because your generation doesn't want to change. You're very much stuck in your ways. And unless something happens, you ain't changing for shit. You're like an old dog, innit? You want things to stay the same. You complain about certain things. But you're not willing to change. Like, only reason something you're willing to change is when something happens. Maybe some level of trauma or something happens that forces you to have to change. But
you see what I was on the internet the other day, which is a good thing as well. Maybe even today or yesterday. And I think it was Young Child Arts KRS-One something.
Okay.
It's like, I won't try and teach. I'm not going to teach. They say, I'm not going to teach people's other slangs. Say it's a slogan, you know what I mean? I can try to teach, but look, that's not me. But anyway, so, yeah, they asked him, how are we going to evolve? How can youth get better? How can we do this thing? Community, I think roughly it was. But he said, the only way we can change, the only way we're going to go into the future is if the older people listen to the younger people and the younger people listen to the older people. So it's exactly what you've just said, basically. Because...
And they don't. And then the younger people are too entitled and they're too big-headed.
But they're not aware.
And they're arrogant.
They're not aware. That's the thing, because they're not aware.
And then there's like, you got the young generation with the old generation, like two billy goats just clashing heads. And if we as our middle generation don't bridge the gap, then there's no chance. So I feel like it's our generation that has to basically make that transition, because you're both ignorant in your own ways. And you both, and I both agree with you on some instances, but I also disagree with something on both instances.
Well, you're saying that's not me. I'm old, but please don't put me in that bracket. Because I'm feeling like you're saying, but yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being in that bracket.
Yeah, but
I know you. There's an older generation than you, of course.
Yeah, when I say that, though, there is nothing wrong with being in the bracket. But when I say that, I pride myself on being across the board, innit? So I know, like you said, I know about the respect, and I have to.
Then you're a percentage above most. Because if you was to think about the males and females of your age, you know that a lot are not like you.
Yeah, of course not. But we've got to be the change we want to see in the world.
But then you can't change others.
Yes, you can.
You can only change yourself.
You change others by example.
But I'm just saying, you can't change others. You can only affect your own change.
Yeah. But through your change, others see it, then that make an implement change.
If they want to.
Yeah.
You can't force them to change.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what you have to get over. You could only change things in your own reality. There's free will. So you can't affect their change. You can give them all the opportunities in life. You could bring them the goddamn water, but they won't drink it. Do you know what I mean?
Gotta be goddamn water.
Like, do you get what I mean?
Yeah. You could bring in the water. Yeah, I know you're saying this in extreme. Yeah, definitely, but they still might not drink it still.
So we must as individuals,
we
as individuals have to change.
Yeah.
And hope that a ripple effect of events goes on.
And that's across the board, you're saying. And that's the middle for the proclaim, like the middle kind of like ground is in your age to the younger age, because you will have an awareness of the old times, of certain things that the young people have no comprehension of. And so you can bridge the gap, and in the same vice versa, you got comprehension of stuff that the youngsters are doing and going through. Exactly. Which I've got children, so I know some things, but even I'm in the dark. I remember being in school and saying, I'll never be old, I'll never be boring, I'll always know what's going on. Even that move just now, oh my God, my children be like, Dad, even that, that's, what is that?
The speed of how things move now. Like, you blink and you've missed it.
Yeah.
Things trend that fast.
Yeah. But this is the problem as well. Today's lifestyle is not sustainable. Today's lifestyle is not tangible. When you're left with, when you have those gaps of silence and boredom, the generation that are not party to the stuff we're party to, have not seen certain struggles and so on and so forth. A lot of people are like losing it. Like, oh my God, my life's going down the toilet. They're having mental health problems. They're having depression. They're having certain things going on because they've only been consuming Happy Meals or like like information, and they think everything is just okay. If I don't get this done in the next 5 seconds, and it's not real. It's like really fake. Like, and they don't want to listen to the adults or the older people or someone who may have the benefit of understanding stuff. A lot of people are like, nah. Oh, I'll Google it, and I know.
We need to stop gaslighting.
Gaslighting. Explain that to me.
We need to stop gaslighting our youths or gaslighting like our younger generation, because I think that's where the problems come from.
Yeah.
It's like social media and Instagram and those things there are highlighting instant success when it's not real. So when they're going through certain things, like everything takes time, innit? Like, so I feel like these are things that need to be addressed.
It's do you know what? As you're saying it, it's the whole freaking machine, because you're totally right. And then it's even
why do we have all these different levels of feelings and emotions if we're not meant to go through it? If we're always meant to be happy, we don't only have happiness, right? We're meant to have sad, all these different emotions. If we wasn't meant to go through them, why would we have them? It's balance, innit? You can't have light without having dark.
Yeah, of course.
So when I see
heat or cold,
I see people that are depressed or going through certain things, like what are they really depressed about, or what are they really going through, what they're not addressing? These things are part of life.
They're not living.
Whether you're young or old, you have to go through these things.
They're not living, bro. for me, they're not living. As you're talking, because I feel like I get educated every time. When I came in today, you asked me, you spoke about how the level of the number of episodes we've got and stuff, and it's just, this is an education for me as I'm sitting across from you, and because you're connected to so many different things, it's a beautiful thing for me now.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Cool. I appreciate you, bro. I'm so happy you're in the studio. Enlightening me, because it's because of all the things we're getting so quick that we're left with this extra time that now they don't know what to do with the time, and that's where all the doubt and all that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you can go in and say, "Give me a burger, give me this," and you get it in 5 seconds. What? And
the problem is
there's no sustenance in that food,
and you can see how different things are.
What do you mean?
So I feel like that's a good example, isn't it? I work in the food industry.
Yeah.
So I know what it takes to get something to a different point. So with the concept of like self-service food and food coming out faster, it means the product is being compromised.
Yeah. And
the product being compromised, you're not getting the same thing, but you're still getting charged for the same thing. We live in a world now where you're getting charged more for less.
Yeah, but my thing, like, we're paying more, but let's put the money to the side one sec, but it's like, you're not getting that quality. Like, you're not getting that quality.
I feel like even the older generation, young generation, are forgetting the steps it takes for something to be made. For you to be able to get a burger within 30 seconds or a minute of you ordering it on a machine means that some people are doing all the work behind the scenes that you can't see that allows you to go click and collect. It's not faster. It's just there's more people behind the scenes doing the things that make it seem like it's quick, but it's not quick. Yeah. For you to get instant coffee, someone's got to cook the coffee to the point where it's instant.
Roasted, yeah.
So they've got to do the whole process for you, then put it in a can and give it to you so you can go ping within a minute.
Ping. This is what, Chef Adoniz, yeah? This is the problem.
People are not understanding the processes that are in place to make this happen, and that's the problem.
Even not like, if they don't understand, fuck them. Excuse my French. But if they're party to it, then they could enjoy it. They can't enjoy it as well. No, you're right. They don't understand, so they don't enjoy it because, like, where I come from, people know you Sunday morning, you go raving. Sunday morning, you're smelling food. You can't eat, so you're smelling the food in the house. You know someone's there cooking the food. This food gets to resonate throughout the whole house. Your body, you get hungry. If you've got a family member who bakes, the smell of the cake comes through the house. If you're having a roast dinner, do you know what I'm saying? And those things, while you're waiting for it, Mum, when's it ready? Or Dad, when's it ready? What we having? I was waiting for the vegetables, waiting for this. There's a whole process of, and then when you get it, the satisfaction of getting it and the way you'll enjoy it, it's totally different.
How good is, like, right, let's just say grandma or mum's cooking when she cooks it.
It's the best in the whole world.
And when you're getting, let's say for example, mum gives you your food and it's ready at 3 o'clock, innit? And it's ready within an hour or two. What you're not getting is you're getting 20 years of mum's experience in an hour. That's what you're getting. That's what you're getting. You're not getting a food in an hour. You're getting 20 years of experience in a compressed time. So she knows now that she can make the Yorkshire puddings this way. She knows she can do that. So so when someone says, like, what are you paying for? You're not paying for the time. You're paying for the person. So you're getting
the love that's put into that food as well.
You're getting experience condensed down. So, like, people don't understand that there's no such thing as overnight anything. There's no such thing as overnight success. Because whatever level of success someone has, they've done the groundwork. They've done the 10,000 hours. So when you see this celebrity on TV finally getting their A-list and being in these movies, they did 100 movies that nobody knew about.
Or 1,000 auditions.
1,000 auditions you don't see. You don't see the dark moments they're having. So when you see, like, okay, Dwayne Johnson or freaking Kevin Hart is doing 10 movies this year, you understand that the guy's in the gym every single day working out for a role that he might not never get. You understand that man like Kevin Hart was around the same time as all the other comedians. You just didn't see him.
Yeah, he been for years.
Because he was in the back. He wasn't getting the same limelight, but he knew that he had sauce. He knew that he had levels, and he kept on grinding away, got his opportunity, and he knew when he finally made it, he was going to change the game. So people understand that everything has a process. And I feel like the younger generation are not willing to do the work to get to the process or get to the certain things. And the older generation want to complain about change, but don't want to make change, but they want the change to be affected. And then so they're just like the young people, but in a different way.
You really are the bridge between the two, man.
Hard work don't mean success.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Hard work doesn't mean success. You can work hard your whole life. It's about working hard and smart at the same time. The young generation are making money that our parents could never make.
Yeah.
On their phones.
Yeah.
So they're moving a different level of smart.
Yeah.
And that comes with arrogance too. But not just because one does, it doesn't mean everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like they're not willing to put the graft in.
Yeah.
But then I feel like our generation is still lazy too, in sight. Of course, every generation or every band of age has their disparities, of course. But at the same time, I'm realizing that I've got to be that. Like I've got
You got to be what?
I've got to be the bridge. Like
It's good that you're taking what do you call it? The mantle? The who?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because you're taking that mantle, and being that bridge and helping, because your family and everything. It's good.
I have to. If I've got the knowledge and I've got the experience, I feel like I've got to pass it on in any way, shape, or form. I would never wish my life onto anybody because I don't know how I did my life. I just know that I had to do what I had to do by any means possible.
My brother.
And if I can go down the road that you don't have to go down, that's what I'm about.
Yeah,
because it's not easy. Like when someone says I want that guy's life, do you even know what it's like to have that person's life?
Could you deal with what they dealt with? Yeah.
You're only seeing their camera reel. You're only seeing their highlight reel. You don't know what their struggle reel's like. You don't know what it's like.
I'm dead. Wow.
You don't know what it's like on a day-to-day basis.
I love that. You know. You don't see their struggle reel.
You don't see the struggle reel. Wow. Like it's easy to show the successes, and I will always show the successes. But I'm never gonna show the heartache because people don't want to see that.
People don't understand it. They don't. Yeah, they don't see the heart. They don't want to see the people in the kitchen. The 10 people in the kitchen. They just want to see the burger. Yeah, they just want to see the fucking burger. We'll talk loud, Bree.
Social media.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna post a picture, you're not gonna post a picture of you looking sad, are you? You're gonna post a picture of you looking
happy.
cool,
Yeah, you pose for it.
Yeah. So it's like you say, it's not your struggle reel. It's just
And let's just say my Instagram has 100 pictures on my Instagram of food. There's 1,000 that never made it. There's 1,000 that I wasn't happy with how the sauce looked on that, how they looked aesthetically pleasing, and I'm not gonna put it up because you're only as relevant as your last post. And I've been told by industry execs and people on Instagram that said that you're better off posting nothing on Instagram or having stuff of note than posting shit.
Yeah.
So even though I haven't posted nothing in the last year or 2 years, it will still get me work. It will still get me opportunities because what you have on there is quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about.
Let's talk culinary.
Okay, what do you want to know?
How did you get into it? Why you chef? What is it? What drove you towards it? What was your first introduction to cooking? What is your passion? What's your favorite food? I can keep talking before you say it. Yeah, it's food. We're gonna get in.
I stumbled into chefing, so I stumbled into it. So I went to school. I've been working since I was 16. So I had jobs while I was at college and while I was working. So I've always had something. I'm one of 6, so I helped raise my sisters and my brother when I was younger. I was my mum's rock when she got divorced from my dad at the time. So back in the day, I did travel and tourism. I was doing race engineering before I went into traveling. Before I went into hospitality and catering, I used to like race go-karts and compete, and I was pretty good too. I could have went pro, but I couldn't afford to go pro because it's a rich man sport. And having a single mother, I couldn't afford to go into competitions and do certain things, so I had to kind of like just leave it on his head. But I used to do race engineering, so I used to work on like Formula 3 cars. And, and then eventually you go Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1. So if I kept on that path, I eventually became an engineer, probably for a Formula 1 team or NASCAR or a rally team or some kind of high-end motorsport in like company I would have been probably a pit team for. If I kept on that path, I was very good at setting up cars, very good with my hands, but I had an attitude. I didn't really like following instructions. I didn't really like paperwork and like the coursework stuff. In my head,
it's not attitude, you say?
Yeah, hard-headed, isn't it? When I was that age, someone couldn't tell me nothing, but at the same time, if I could set up a car and I'm good with my hands, what do I need paperwork for? Why are we doing
I mean,
why are we doing classwork stuff?
I mean, there is the place for that, but not everyone is in that place. If you look back in history, there's people, huge inventors, innovative people that never done that stuff, and he was allowed to, what's the word, man? I keep losing words. You know, like, show their artistry. You know, like really just do it. Like, okay, go on, Adoniz, do your thing, innit? Well, you don't know the paper, shows what you could do then.
Yeah.
It's given that latitude to show, and they created great things. So it's not, I don't think it's hard-headed. I think you might have been a genius. You might still be a genius because you're doing the chefery stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't for me, so I ended up falling. Chefery, love it.
You got this, you got just realised I said it.
You two have to pattern that. So I ended up falling out of the class and obviously getting released because obviously I wasn't up to date on my coursework, but regardless of how I set up a car. And then
I want to ask you questions inside. Sorry to stop you while you're talking.
No problem.
Because we're black, as everyone at home can see.
Of course.
So coming up with that level of intelligence and knowing what you wanted to do, it could have been scary for some of the people around you. And then you say you was hard-headed and stuff, but you explained you was going through stuff as well at home. So you was dealing with a lot of stuff, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And still maintaining, but still managing to create stuff and do good things.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's,
I've always been around white people. Like when my parents were together, I went to private school. I went to Catholic school.
wow.
Like so, I've always been in a white world in a sense. Like when my parents were together, we lived in Neasden, we lived in Nutside, Brent Cross sides. I used to be in a class where there was only 2 black people, me and Stefan. I'll be on the left side, he'll be on the right side in class photos to balance us out. Like that.
Wow,
like,
seriously?
Yeah, that level. Like you'd be the only 2 black in your whole year group. So by default, we were best friends. Yeah. Like so, for me, being around white people was never a thing. I went to college in Corby, Northamptonshire.
Corby.
That's.
It even sounds white. The
back
name.
then it was hella racist.
Yeah.
And like nowadays, they're very gentrified areas now, due to obviously the train line coming through, a lot of properties. But back then, it was very racist. So I used to be in class at college and be like one of the only few black people anyway.
Yeah.
So I stumbled into catering and hospitality because I had a gap year after I fell out of race engineering. Okay. And back in the day, do you remember when colleges had connections where you had that woman that basically used to help you with kind of like your career path?
Okay.
Yeah. So she was like, we're going to try to find you something next year, but right now we've got to find you something to the end of the year. So she was like, why don't you do hospitality and catering? I went, what the hell is that? She's like, basically, it's food tech. All right, cool, food tech. So I ended up doing level 1. Level 2, I remember my tutor telling me that I would never make it in this career. I'd never make it in this field. You haven't got what it takes. I've been a chef 17 years now. I'm the most successful person to ever.
Get back to me.
I'm the most successful person to leave my year group.
Well done.
And when I went back, she was like, "I think you should try and do some stuff for the kids." And
the same person.
Yeah. She made it seem like she always had my back and always believed in me and what I could do. I'm English and French classically trained, so that's what I specialize in. So I've always worked in hotels and restaurants.
See my eyes light up, people at home.
So
yeah.
So for me, I've always been a black sheep in a white sheep world. You be in a kitchen and you're the only black chef. The only black people you'd see would normally be porters or very low level black people in the kitchen.
You're a G, you know.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
No, you're a G because I know how that environment can be. Like you're a G. You're a G, bro. Like and you're sitting across the table from me now. You're an inspiration.
Thank you, man.
To not just young black people, to young people all around. Just going for yours and doing your thing. Wow. And we haven't even unpacked everything. Wow.
I have to. Like when you're working in kitchens and your head chef or your exec chef says, I want you to cut off your hair, cut off your dreads because you don't look aesthetically pleasing. When you're facing, you got racist Italian chefs, racist French chef, telling you about your culture, telling you to go back home, belittling you, trying to break you, and you're still there, like day in, day out, not letting them defeat you. Yeah. Like this career has given me some of the best years of my life.
Well done, man.
But it's also given me some of the most hardships I've ever been through.
Yeah.
Like my industry also has more alcohol and drug abuse than rock stars.
Seriously?
Most definitely. Chefs in front of house, they do every type of drug. From coke to weed to alcohol to pills. Everything you could possibly think of. This environment's not healthy.
So what? It's because of the high pressure of the environment, or
Of course. Where else do you work 16-hour days, 18-hour days, 7 days a week? It's a 24-hour operation. Chefing doesn't stop. Whenever you have a bank holiday, we go to work. Whenever there's something on, we go to work. There's no day of the year that we don't do stuff.
Do you know why I understand? Because like my belly's even rumbling as you talk. Well, you better shut up. But you hear French and you hear English. I was already thinking toad in the hole, bangers and mash. Fawole. You know, I'm telling you, my mind's already cool. You said it wisely up, but anyway. Yeah, I know. Serious. Yeah, because that give me so much food for thought. That amount of people behind for you to get the burger in 10 minutes. Like you got a prep food, you got a season food. Some food takes a long time to eat and bring to certain temperatures. Some foods you got to sit and wait. It's just there's so much science behind cooking. Like you said, it's for you to get that food on your plate every time at the time, designated time, like lunch times, dinner times, all that. It is a 24-hour thing. Even the produce has got to get to you. Because I've delivered produce as well. I've done quite a few different things around the kitchen, so I know. Produce get into you, the quality of the produce, the time it's used, the storing of it, the people that you're working with, the combinations of things. Like if they're not combined at the right time, they spoil. They're not done in the right way. It doesn't taste the same kind of thing.
And a kitchen is an orchestra. Everyone has got to work on the same time. So let's say, for example, you don't know this, yeah. So let's just say you're a table of 10. All of you come into a restaurant, and you're the difficult person, yeah. My man is the easy person. His order is very nice and simple. You've ordered the most longest thing on the menu. The whole table has now got to adhere to your dish. The whole kitchen has to. So the whole kitchen will make sure that all their dishes are in line with your dish. So if your dish takes the longest to make, we have to make sure our dishes come at the same time as your dish, because you've ordered the longest thing on the menu. So if you ordered a well-done steak, or you've ordered a slow-cooked something, and your dish takes 40 minutes to leave the kitchen, if you haven't ordered starters, you're going to feel that 40 minutes. If you've ordered starters or you've ordered like stuff before, you're not going to notice, because you have your starters 20 minutes after that. From the time you've ordered your food, we've already started making your food already. So by the time the mains are away, your food's coming out very soon. But if you've ordered no starters and your dish is 40 minutes long, or you've ordered a well-done steak, someone has ordered the fish, someone has ordered the burger, someone has ordered the real simple stuff, the whole table is going to come at the same time as your ticket because of you.
Wow,
So
Chef
the whole kitchen has got to adhere to the longest dish. And when they say your dish is ready, we have to make sure we're ready in time too. And that's every section.
This is like, as you're sorry to interrupt you, like, because it's like, this isn't chefing, this is militarization.
People don't understand that.
This is an operation, serious operation.
And depends on how busy the establishment is, you have to do things to make things quicker. If you're in a busy place, let's just say I worked in stadiums, Wembley, Emirates, RB, all over the place. So when the halftime break, when football breaks for 15 minutes, they will sell 50 grand's worth of food in 15 minutes. They can sell 10 grand's worth of burgers, chicken in 15 minutes. So you have to make sure your whole day of prep is now being able to be shifted in 15 minutes. Because when 15 minutes go, we're pre-frying chips. So when they want it, dish. Like, so all these things behind the scenes you don't see, but we're doing it. And then you complain about this, or the food's cold, or this and that, and da. Like, these things are not even our fault, but you're still complaining. Why doesn't it taste that good? Da. Like, you lot are hard to please. And even I
love the way you talk, everyone out there, all of you.
Even when you give what you want,
everybody eats.
Even when you give what you want, you're still not happy.
Yeah.
You still want to complain about something.
What's your favorite dish to cook, sir?
That's like asking an R&B artist what's his favorite song to sing, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Then what is your? I wouldn't say
my favorite thing to cook or play with is fish. I like fish dishes. I like with fish. You have to respect it.
Yeah, it's very delicate.
Like, it's very delicate. You have to make sure the flavor concepts, like the flavor matches obviously what you're trying to make. You can't overpower the thing you're trying to do. Fish works with meat. You can do very similar meat.
Fish
dish.
works with meat.
Fish work. You can put fish with a meat dish. You can mix around the components of a fish dish. It's very diverse. So I like fish.
I like food, man. Shit. So you're classically trained in English and French cuisine.
I can do it all. I've worked in all different establishments.
Let's talk about your training in English and French stuff. Like what was it? Let's talk about your cold. My belly is rumbling, bro. You can hear it. My belly, you feel it. My belly. I'm not lying. My belly's rumbling from the talk. Oh man. Where was I? Yeah. Let's talk about the training. Where did you do it? Because did you do patisserie stuff? Or did you go over to France to do the stuff and then the English stuff? Was it here? How does that work?
So I did all my training over here. So I went to catering college in Corby. I did level 1, level 2, and they treat you for everything. So level 1 would be sauces, stocks, cuts, marinades, vinaigrettes, and our college had a pastry, it had a restaurant, it had a bakery. So it's basically they created an environment that allowed you to basically, like, whatever you made was then sold. Or then you have a restaurant and you'd make things for the restaurant that would be then sold out to the customers. Like a Friday night would be like the day where people can have bookings. So everyone that basically was in the college could come to the restaurant for a discounted price, and they'd have the food that obviously was cooked by the chefs. So everything was taught on site. I didn't get the luxury of going to France to learn my trade. I learned it here. So
cool. So while you was learning and stuff, in comparison to what's going on with the youth today, because you said you had the person in college which was really good to help you move through that gap time and say, okay, what we doing now? What do you want to do? Okay, let's do this for you then, innit? Kind of like guide you and let you know, like, which is not happening now, I don't think, as much. Although the youngsters are more, I want to do that, I want to do that. They're more astute to certain things. Where's my question? Where's my question gone? Where's my question gone? I lost it. I'll find it again in a minute. Ask me something. I'll find it again in a minute.
So I think you was going to go down the line of what do the kids have now when it comes to guidance? Or I think he's probably going to say along the lines of the kids don't have no one to guide them, because obviously I had a person to help. Do you think the youth of today, like, could not have the support that we once had? Maybe.
Nah, that's not what I was going to ask, but we can answer that question, because my thing, like, in my head, I'm just thinking about food, bro. I just think about food. So how did you get to make this happen? But let's go down that road. Let's ask that question that you just asked, please.
To answer that question, I don't know if the kids want guidance of what they want to do. I feel like sometimes are they just jumping onto the bandwagon of what they think they should do, and then that thing sounds interesting. Like for me, our industry is suffering. Hospitality and catering is suffering. Chef. Yeah, it's suffering. Hospitality and catering as a whole, not just chefing, the whole industry. Front of house, different positions, the whole industry suffering with Brexit, with COVID, with people leaving it and not coming back. And also with the world that we live in now, things are now being outsourced and things are being made a lot easier. So the skill set of the industry is dying out. And I feel like a lot of young people don't want to get into chefing no more. I don't blame them. Like, I would never tell my family or my sister or my family to become chefs. It's not. It's modern day slavery. But then at the same time, what right, let's just say for another disparity. How many industries allow you from porter level to then go on to head chef? Or what industries allow you to go into it?
To climb up.
Yes. Like how many industries allow you to go from no experience, self-taught, to then becoming to a level where you can own your own shit? Also, chef industry or hospitality and catering allow people from a darker background. So you could have went to prison, or you could have had that kind of life, and you can now become a chef. You with me? How many industries allow you?
So I think it's quite a good industry.
I can give you pros and cons. There's not many industries in the world that allow you to basically learn a trade and travel the world doing it. I could work anywhere in the world because of my career.
See, you can't. Your first thing just not really selling to me now. Like, oh, chef is not good. Chef sounds good to me. Let me just
because I lead with the truth and then I flip it.
Nice.
So for me, I can't sell you on traveling the world because you have to get to a point where you're able to travel the world.
Yeah, yeah. Let me ask you something, or let me make a statement, or let me throw something in there as well. Because you spoke about everything. You just get like ping, 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 and my head's going off. But I understand No, let me forget. No, I can make the comparison. You can make a comparison between the. You said chefs take more drugs than what did you say again? Artists.
Then rock stars.
Rock stars. In the same breath, chefs are fucking artists, mate. They're artists. You're an artist, like to a level that's unbelievable. For you to bring out a plate of food, you know, like when you're composing a plate, or when you're combining the fish and that, it's the serenity. There's a beauty that comes out of you, bro.
There's a difference between taking drugs because you like the high.
Yeah.
There's a difference with taking the drugs because you feel like you have to do it to stay in the game.
Yeah, I'm not. My thing is like, sorry, Chef Adoniz, forget the drugs thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm realizing how close to artists you are. I only mentioned the drugs thing because you mentioned the drugs thing before and like the rock star. But my thing is like, you got rock stars, R&B, painters, dancers, whatever form of art chefing is a form of art. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's the satisfaction.
Most definitely.
Yeah, there's a satisfaction of when you're, you know, like when I cook, it's therapeutic for me as well. Like I haven't had to be in that environment.
Is it therapeutic because you don't have to give it to nobody?
No, but my own people love my food.
Or is it therapeutic because there's no pressure that goes with it?
No, there's my thing. There's pressure that goes with it for me sometimes, but nowhere near as much pressure as goes with it for you. But it's therapeutic because I know if I put in that time, like to cook my lamb slowly, and I jacket my potatoes in foil. And then I rice them to mash them, opposed to boiling them. The flavor that I'm gonna get is gonna blow your mind. If I let that pastry sit for just the right amount of hours, or that sponge it's not too dry, it's not too wet, it comes out perfectly.
Food is science.
Food is sex, man.
Food is science. Food is sex too.
Yeah, so that's where I'm saying
love
is
language is food.
when you get it, you know, like you're an artist who you're here at this level. So like you said about your mother or somebody condensing their knowledge into 1 hour and be able to do, like you're a magician, like the wizard, no pun intended, but I dropped it. You can go da-da-da-da-da, and here you go. And I know someone will go, oh, like literally. And so I get gratification from both sides of that coin. I cook for my children, I cook for people around me. I know what I like to eat. When I go in the kitchen and cook, I slow down.
Do they appreciate your food?
They love my food, bro.
That makes a difference.
Of course, they ask for dishes, bro.
If they didn't appreciate your food, it'd be different.
Definitely.
Then you might have a different like take on it.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that if I didn't love cooking so much, if I didn't have that, you know, like the calm and peace when I'm cooking, I wouldn't put that love into the food. I wouldn't have that. I wouldn't take the time to do the science. Like I really care about. Okay, like when I make spaghetti bolognese,
with this industry, you don't have to love what you do to still do it, and you're tasting that in the food.
Yeah.
When you get a McDonald's burger, you can taste no love.
Yeah.
You can taste that the thing was flung in the burger bun, and the thing was you just heard it was just flung in there. Compared to if you went down to like some greasy spoon burger like street food van, and you get some burger right there, that burger's amazing. You see him flip the burger right there, cook down the onions, takes you 50 minutes to get the burger. Yeah, how you doing, mate? Da-da-da. You can that burger there. You can taste the love in that burger.
I'm hungry, man.
You can taste the love in that burger compared to a conglomerate that's a machine of that guy in the back from McDonald's. Ching.
That's what's about, though, isn't it?
Now 50,000 burgers in one day.
But that's what's happening now, though.
But I feel like you still love it is because your food is received correctly.
What do you mean?
If you had ungrateful kids,
if
you had ungrateful kids or an ungrateful partner, and you cook this amazing food, and then they go, I don't like it, or I'm not feeling it. I want fish and chips, or I want chicken wings.
Fuck them.
Yeah, no, but that's what I live in. You're only as good as your last dish.
Yeah, no, you know.
So I feel like you still love it also because people are receiving it a certain way.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah, definitely.
So when you've been in this industry long enough, you have to find the things that still make you do it.
Yeah, my friend who's not here today, he made quite a valid statement when we was talking to another chef on the show about when the chef makes a steak and he makes it a certain kind of medium rare, or whatever. And then certain people, they don't know nothing about it. They say, no, I want it well done. And the chef's like, no, you don't want it well done. You want it like that. You know how it's supposed to taste. How it's optimum.
Every time we get a well done steak in the kitchen or medium well, we're like, what's the point of having a steak? Like, really, what's the point? That's what the voice said. Remember? But I know it's something that we're indoctrinated. Like, I come from a Caribbean community, so we want everything well cooked, well done. Boom. It wasn't until I came in the industry and I became a chef I realized that when it comes to stuff like steaks, the best way I would have it is medium. Tad bit pink, no blood, but then the meat still has the firmness, has the springiness, has the juiciness. What's the point of having something that tastes like a shoe bottom?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. The longer you cook something, you're cooking the fiber out of the meat. Okay. It's like you're getting some boiler chicken from your Nigerian grandma.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't eat them things.
How do you cook protein out of food? How do you boil, fry, and roast chicken? Like, the thing come like freaking like beef jerky. Like,
yeah. How can I get to die here? Listen, so I have to be aware of what we got. What time we're gonna? Anyway, so lamb. The first time I had pink lamb.
Lamb shows with medium rare.
Oh my God, but I hadn't had it like that before. I went to, I think I was at the All Nations couples at the stadium.
Lamb goes from tender and succulent to dry.
But then, what about the slow cooked lamb that's cooked for ages as well?
Was that a lamb rump?
Yeah, huh?
Is that a lamb rump?
A lamb rump, yeah. I thought you said a lamb rock.
Yeah. Different cuts can cook different ways.
Okay.
You can't cook a lamb shank over like medium rare, because it just becomes like solid. Yeah. But then you got a lamb rump. Different cuts allow you to cook it different ways or cook it longer.
And you cook it till it's falling off the bone. What's that one?
Well, for lamb.
Yeah.
Then that'll be a lamb shank.
Lamb shank. You literally cook it and cook it.
But you don't. It has to be able to fall off the bone, but then still stay on the bone.
Okay.
That's where the skill comes from. Okay. You cook it to a point where you basically can eat it with a spoon.
You're killing him, bro.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. All right. Moving on. All right, because we've got a certain amount of time, and we're gonna Chef Adoniz Sinclair. I didn't say your first name because I mess up names. Can you say it for me again?
Dubin Chef Adoniz Sinclair.
Dubin Chef Adoniz Sinclair. Such a powerful, strong name.
Thank you, bro.
I want to talk about poetry. I don't want to miss out stuff. You're
okay, let's want to talk the words.
You're a poet as well.
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's where we met.
That's where we met.
But I can't lie. When I heard you was a chef, that definitely drew me to you as well. Like, I get drawn to loads of people out there for different reasons. When I heard you're a chef, but then when
people don't understand that I'm a chef until they see the Instagram page. So I go on stage, I say I'm Chef Adoniz, I perform a food piece, but it doesn't click in their head. It's not until they check out Instagram they go, you're actually a real chef. And go, why would I give myself a name that doesn't speak to who I am?
Yeah.
I understand we live in a world of aliases. So I think that's what it is. And so you see my page, you go like, right, he's actually a chef. So I feel like, yeah. So we met through spoken word and poetry. So what's your first question? What does the name mean?
What's my first question? My first question is, how did you come about with your first initial just like writing or just even just creating your poetry? Because like I can understand the in fact I've made the connection between art forms and cooking, which they're both art forms, like I'm saying. So therefore
it's different now. It's different now. Now Chef Adoniz and the poetry spoken word has an alias. It now has its own unique brand. When I first started out, when I was like 15, 16, I wrote poems or I wrote stuff for the females. So I used to do my own like little cards and make my own little spoken word poetry and then kind of like give it to them, and then I got burnt, so I stopped doing it.
You got burnt?
Yeah. Women are harsh, man. Women are harsh, bro. Even in their teens,
they're fierce,
bro. Like they just tell it as it is, fam. She burnt me hard, fam. I was like, I'm not doing this again.
What happened?
She just didn't receive how I wanted to receive it. She just like, this is cheesy, innit? Like they doing it. Like
yeah,
you have to give it
down a bit.
You have to give it to the right woman that receives it in a way, innit? So then I kind of stopped writing, and then when I was going through my dad dying and having to take the mantle of being the oldest, I use poetry as a way to get over my anger
Nice.
and my depression.
How
And
old
kind
was
of
you?
like early teens, if I was correct, early teens.
Like 13, 14, 12?
Possibly.
Wow.
Right about that.
Wow.
So I use poetry as a way to kind of get over my emotions and feelings in a non-aggressive manner. So I feel like if I didn't become a chef and I didn't have spoken word and poetry, I'd either be in prison or I'd be dead. And that's the God's honest truth. Because I feel like my anger would have either got me inside, or there's so much times where I was in such a dark space that I would have just took my life, or I would have just done something stupid. So the words allow me to kind of compartmentalize my feelings, and the chefing allowed me to have a vision. It gave me a space to put all my energy into to get here. It channeled me to not be on the roads or doing things I shouldn't have been doing.
Nice.
So Chef Adoniz, how that came about was I wanted something that epitomized who I was, but at the same time was also not me at the same time. So I thought of like someone like Nicki Minaj and having Roman's Revenge, and Beyonce having Sasha Fierce. So I wanted to have an alias that represented who I was. So I was a chef, and then I thought, I'm a good looking chef. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm not a good looking boy, innit? So I looked into Adonis, like the god of beauty, dating Aphrodite. So I said, why can't I be Chef Adoniz? Chef, good looking, put them together. And then is what I use my Instagram to post all of my fish dishes, and I started performing under the name. And then the name just became part of who I am, but also its own person. So I feel like Dubin Sinclair is the fine dining chef. That's me being Bruce Wayne. And
Nice.
then Chef Adonis is me being Batman. So
Okay.
it's where I kind of do all the alias stuff. I do the outlandish words, and I do the crazy dishes, and it allows me to kind of go outside my comfort level. So the things I might be afraid to do as Dubin, I do as Adonis.
Nice.
Like, so it's kind of like, don't be afraid. It's kind of like not procrastinating. And when you heard me perform as a poet, it's because I got to a point where I was like, how do I distinguish myself different from every other poet out there? I'm on stages with some amazing shellers, but how can I be different? How can I make sure that you remember my name at the end of a piece? Because when you go to a poetry venue and you hear 20 people shell, you're not going to remember 20 people. It's not physically possible. Your mind's maxed out. You can't remember everything you heard. So I was like, how about I start adding food into my words? How about I start talking about chicken, but also slavery? How about I start talking about O.J. Simpson through orange juice? How about I start talking about women through spices? And I just started adding food into the things I wanted to talk about in a political or non-political way, and then it became itself.
So it's your recipe.
Yeah, it's my recipe. So like, I might not perform as much as everybody else, but you remember, I remember you talk about that piece about cereals and cheating on women. Like, people come to me years later and they're like, your pieces resonate because I make you see things differently, and that's what it's about. It's like changing the narrative.
Quality.
I want you to think of me in different ways, and food is always something that sticks to the hips.
Yeah. You got the bars, G. You got the bars, G. Wait, I want to ask you something first.
Sure.
No, I forgot, but yeah. Wait,
I could definitely perform something before we end up.
yeah.
Definitely.
What was I say? In spirit of what you said, anyway. That's all I was to ask. We've got a poetry event that's starting on the 5th of April. This will air after that event goes on, but I'd like to extend an invitation to you to come on.
5th of April.
No. This I'm trying to extend an invitation to you for the show. It'll be running every month.
Yeah.
So when you're ready, you come and take the mic when you're ready. When you've got space in your schedule.
I want to be a part of it still.
But I'm extending the invitation to you now. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah,
So
it's
it's time for you to call me and let me know when you can come on, and we can like let the masses hear some of your amazing work as well. Like that, we're gonna allow them to hear on this show right now.
Thank you.
But I want to get into that. Like, I'd love to have you on that stage because of everything you just said and what we're attempting to do with this new show. I really would love to have you involved, man. Love to have you involved. In fact, I feel privileged if you're involved. Basically,
definitely, man. Anything I can do that will help the culture and get my words out there. Because I'm a firm believer that I'm not a spoken word artist. I don't pretend to be. I'm a storyteller with a pen, and I've got stories to tell. And I feel like as long as one person hears my story and it resonates, just like yourself, that's what it's about. Like, I'm trying to be a better spoken word artist, but I'm not trying to fall into a hole that I'm not meant to be in. I just got to be myself. So the fact that my words resonate with you, you want me to on your show, you have me here, I don't take it lightly because there's so much people that you could have chosen, and you've been patient with me too.
Yeah. I wanted you to come on, Chef.
It hasn't been easy for you to get me on here, just due to the nature of work and the stuff I've been doing. So the fact that you've been patient with me, like, I appreciate, because like it shows a lot of love. Because I feel like if you haven't got time for me or patient with my life, you're not for me, innit? So I'm out here doing what I've got to do, and if you can't respect that, then it can't happen. But the fact that you've always kind of like shown a light for me, and you've allowed me to work around different schedules, like, because work has took me into all different places, and also I've been in different spaces too. I haven't always been in the best headspace this year. So it's like I don't ever want my negative energy to come out in a way that I'm not in control of. I always want to show my best self whenever I do things, and that's why when I'm in dark spaces or I'm having like moments, I try to keep it to myself, because only I can get myself out of it. And only the people that obviously help me in those spaces, they know who they are. So it's important that I always put my best foot forward to know that we all go through it, but I'm not trying to lead on trauma-based antics. Because as a poet, it's very easy to lead on trauma. It's very easy to allow, woe is me, this is happening, Like, I'm a firm believer that I'm not saying what you're going through is not like important, or it doesn't warrant note, but I'm not trying to be that person.
It's good. What was I gonna ask you, man? I just got engrossed in you talking. I forgot I was gonna ask you. I'm gonna leave. Dang, man. If you can think about a piece that you can
What kind of piece, what kind of piece would you like?
You can. It's up to you. Whatever piece you want to choose. I mean, I'm happy for any piece you want to choose. I think we might close with it. Huh?
Something to do with food.
Yeah, I think we'll close with it, and I'm going to ask you a few questions from the book before we get to that. I'm going to try for you. You just go ahead and look for a piece. The cooking and the poetry and you've got a meticulousness about you. Like when I think about it, from the race car stuff, that was what I wanted to ask. That's it. I remember that. So yeah, in the spirit of my patience, I did say to you, let's get this done in the kitchen, and you said to me, no, let's do it like this first. Let's sit across the table, and then in the future we can get one in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You remember that conversation we had? Yeah. And I can't wait to get one in the kitchen. I just want to say that. I'm not like asking for a date or nothing like that. Like when you're gonna do it or nothing. I just wanted to say that. Obviously, we're gonna get an episode in the kitchen.
I think we could do that in the house. Definitely. Like for me, like when it comes to the food and the chefing, I protect it with my whole heart, because like it's aesthetically pleasing. Like that's my world, isn't it? So if I'm inviting you into my world, like it has to be correct. So like this me being like here is very chilled, isn't it? When we're in the kitchen, it's a whole different beast, isn't it? Like you see a different side of me. You see the astuteness and the levels, and even if we cook something simple, I'm fully thinking about flavors. I'm thinking about how it looks, how it's gonna come. Because you only get to try my food once. Every time after that, it's a reunion. So.
You got some bars, bro. With that lips and the hips thing, and you're gone. You reunite your lips with the cook of Chef Adoniz.
You only get that first feeling. So after I cook for you once, after that, you'll try. I can't get that moment back. So for me, it's important that the first time is the best time. Yeah. And after that, it's like, even if I never cook for you ever again, you'll be like, man, that guy cooked me some chicken or some fish, and I was like, man, it was amazing. Yeah. And I could die with that. Or I cook you something, you go, oh, you spoke about the thing, but it wasn't even that good, you know. I can't live with that. Like, because especially in the black community too, like we're harsh on each other than we should be. Yeah. It was like sometimes we're waiting for people to fall. We have to no. We put the bar all the way up to the top. You know when people doing the high I never told you to put that bar that high. Yeah. My bar alone is very high. But you made the bar even higher. I didn't tell you to put me in that bracket of what you think I should be. Yeah. Oh, it's nice, but anyway. We got what do you think about the because we're still on food, we're gonna close with a poem, like I said. How many pieces you got to close with? One or two? We could do two. All right, cool. So I could do one that I think you're gonna really resonate with, and then I'll do one of my newest pieces. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Lovely. So with the invention of so many new food techniques, so much new food. Sorry for leaning away from the mic. The introduction of genetically modified things. That's not food, bro. Yeah. I know. But
all these things, the genetically modified things, and you know, like just all the different foods they're giving, the new fast food. Where do you see the food industry in the next 10 years? Because you've got people going, when I say that genetically foods, you can't. Sorry, 1 second. So they're eating food that ain't food.
Yeah.
And that's their sustainable diet as well. They're not even aware of nutrition and stuff like how you would be aware. Do you know what I mean? Some people that go at McDonald's or £1 chicken shop, and they don't know about what's happening to their body inside. So that's sorry to cut you as well. Where do you see the food industry in the future and our health as people?
Wow. I have no idea where it's gonna go, but I feel like people need to start growing their own stuff, and I feel like people need to actively start reading the stuff that's on their foods and like take more control of what's going into their bodies. Because if they don't, then you're not allowing your body to fight off the things that's gonna happen. Like if you don't fuel yourself correctly, how are you meant to like be able to sustain yourself? You with me? And I think what you're gonna see is that there's going to be a lot more illnesses. There's going to be a lot more body problems in the future because the food we had before wasn't at the nutrition level that it needed to be at, due to obviously like where our food's coming from, how far it's coming from, the things our food has to go. Even that's another conversation. Like the fact that a lot of our stuff is not as homegrown as it used to be. Like you go in a supermarket, like you're getting a mango or an avocado that was made in Kenya. Do you know what avocado has to go through to get to this country? So let's just say, for example, it's not avocado season, let's just say avocado season was 3 months ago. So avocados growing in this avocado field, they've got to pick that thing halfway between its growth, like pick it, like when it's halfway through. Then it has to go in some special container on some special ship, then brought over to here and then finished somewhere else. So they'll have special like facilities over here and they'll carry on the growth of your avocado and then bring it to the supermarket. So your food could be all traveling 4, 5, 6 months in different airplanes, trains to then get here. That's when you go to the supermarket and like your avocado's hard. Your avocado's hard because it's not ripe. And it wasn't ripe before because it was picked. If it was ripe then, it would never get here in time. So it's like it's little things like that, like don't make no sense. Like people
just want to grab stuff that they.
And people don't understand seasons too. Just because a supermarket has something all year round doesn't mean it's in season. They just have it in frozen storage, or they just have it, and obviously they're still getting it to you, but. That's why things don't taste right when you're eating something in the wrong season, because that's not the season when it was made. If food needs to be eaten in a season when it's made and when it's picked. So I feel like this whole genetically modified food is a problem, and then you've also got like veganism. That's a problem too, with food that I can't even tell you what's in that, and I'm a chef. When you look at the back of the I'm looking at like, what the hell is vegan bacon, bro? Like, what the hell's in that? Like, I'm looking at it and it's YX chromosome, made to taste. I'm thinking, why are you trying to eat vegan chicken nuggets? Just don't eat chicken nuggets. It's not for you, bro. If you don't want to eat chicken, that's chicken nugget, just go eat cauliflower in freaking breadcrumbs. Like, I don't understand the concept of you trying to make food taste and look like food that is meat. No. You made your decision. Go down your route. Let the meat eaters eat the meat and you just eat like celery. Like, I just don't, that stuff irks my soul. Like, it really irks my soul.
You made your choice.
Like, because when you look at like amazing Mediterranean dishes, Indian dishes, they got amazing vegetarian and vegan dishes that are not trying to be something else. You can have an Indian dish, let's just say like a potato saloo or something, and the potatoes are so good. You're like, oh my God, I'm not missing meat in this. But we live in a world where people have to try and pretend this or pretend this, that, and that's the problem.
Substitutes.
That's the problem. And most times you're not getting enough of what your body needs throughout the week. You might need that level of calcium, that level of vitamins, but you're eating the same kind of food every day. So how can your body take vitamins or calcium from the same chicken you keep eating? Like, do you get what I mean? Like, it don't make no sense. We're trying to find nutrients that doesn't exist in that certain food. So there's not that, you're not having an even balance of diet that allows you to like, I don't feel like a lot.
To live to your optimum, basically.
And then also is like, we mirror people that are important to us, whether we like it or not. So a child is gonna eat what their parent eats. You with me? So if a parent's not eating enough vegetables, the kid's not gonna eat enough vegetables.
It's a knock-on effect.
Everything, like they're mirrors, they're sponges, like, and all these things have a ripple effect of events.
Yeah.
Also, food is power and food is control.
Wow. Wow.
If you control someone's food, you control their life.
Of course.
So the government controls the food. So whatever direction the government wants us to go in, they're going to use the food to be the vessel for that. Right now, we're facing a food shortage.
Yeah.
You can't get certain vegetables in the supermarket. Okay. Why is that? Is it a farming issue, or is it you don't want to deliver it to us issue?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Haven't you seen that with the Brexit COVID era? Before you had somewhat of a say in the things you had a say in. Now they're forcing things on you, and you're having to conform.
Is he talking about worldwide governments or the British government? Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm just trying to tie it into obviously the food concept.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna get worse. It's never gonna get better.
Things
don't
ever
get better. Things always get worse to a point where people will have to make a stand. And I feel like we're gonna have to get to a point where we just start being conscious of what we're eating, taking more of a stand in our food, and I feel like we need to start growing our own shit more.
Yeah.
I think that's important. There's a lot of things we can grow in our own gardens or our balconies, like even small stuff. Do you get what I mean? Like you can. I'm not saying you can grow everything, but you can still take a stance in doing some things.
Yeah, I think that's going to be important
because I hate, as a chef, I hate wastage. I hate how much the country wasted food wise, and the world wasted. Like I can't stand food being wasted when people are out there hungry. For me,
it doesn't make sense.
It's a travesty.
It doesn't make sense.
And they'd rather waste it than give it to people for free. and that irks my soul. It really does.
Yeah, no, that's
because I feel like as much as there's a lot of things in life you can fight being poor. You can fight the struggle, but when you haven't got food, it's hard to fight. You got one meal in your stomach, you can fight another day. Some kids are going to school these days of only having one meal a day. The one they have at school. They're not having breakfast, not having dinner. And this is real stuff. Like
sad.
Very sad.
It's a lot, but in the world, it's just like it doesn't fucking make sense either. In a world where there's so much food and there's so much waste, and there's so many. I think someone said about, it was on another podcast, but I've done a short for the other day. If there's a billionaire, there's bare people not eating because he's eating all of that stuff to himself. It's just greed. That's what the person said. I think it was Joe Oliver. He just said if there's billionaires or millionaires, they're greedy because they're consuming what could be spread around XYZ amount of people. Basically, that's how that shit works. It's sad. Chef,
brother,
Lumbar, Adoniz, Sinclair.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I wanna give you enough ample time to perform your pieces because we're gonna close up now. But right, cool. We're gonna have you in the kitchen in the future, later on this year at some point. Definitely. We're gonna get that down. I can't wait. Seriously.
Just let me know what you want to eat, and we can make
wherever you cook, I'll eat it. I'm just nothing vegan, mate. Yeah, nothing. I got you. No, I would, bruv. Literally, I love a fish, but I will eat it almost everything and anything. I saw this. I should have said it to me. I'm salivating. I saw this Kentucky fried chicken. Mm-hmm. It was made in Jamaica. When I say Kentucky fried chicken, it's fried chicken, barbecue fried chicken. Let me forget Kentucky. Take that out of the mix. It was barbecue fried chicken. So they fried the chicken. And then they put barbecue sauce on it and put it back in the oven, but they made the barbecue sauce from scratch as well.
So man, it became like a baked fried chicken dish.
Yeah. Oh my God! But the way it looked, I never got to taste it, but it was crispy. It sounded crispy.
Yeah, it would be crispy.
And
if you crisp up and then put the sauce on afterwards, it'll remain crispy.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. And I love a cake.
It would have like a crispy crunch to it. And
yeah. Oh man, and that barbecue flavor. Oh God.
That's actually so simple too. Barbecue sauces are so simple.
See, when you know, isn't it? But when you don't know, it's like, oh my God.
They're derivatives of a tomato sauce, and then you add the ingredients to make it into a barbecue sauce. Everything starts from a tomato sauce.
Yeah. Wow.
You can take a ketchup and then add brown sauce, HP sauce, and brown sugar, and then it's now become a barbecue sauce. It's that simple. Add paprika, cayenne, done.
I was gonna say that cayenne, yeah.
You've now made a barbecue sauce. As simple as that.
And I can add a bit of garlic or whatever,
Yeah,
blend it in there if I want to make a different kick to it. Bit of
Yeah.
pepper, other peppers like Scotch bonnet.
Anything that makes you innit?
Huh? What's that? People in trouble. There's definitely gonna be a Life Talks barbecue this year. I'm not gassing. There's gonna be a Life Talks barbecue. Yeah, we've got. Yeah, we're gonna do it because I love food so much, and I like going on the grill. When we set the date, I'll invite you down. Maybe we'll have a couple of grills going. If you can throw down maybe one or two things then as well. But there's definitely gonna be a barbecue because we love food and we want to get everyone together, like family. I love family as well.
I like that.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely do. I'm just trying to find the venue for it now. Like that's definitely going down.
Okay.
And by the time this comes out, it will be summer because they will see this before that time. So they'll be able to, yes, you guys, we're doing the Life Talks barbecue. When you hear about it, come down. We'll play around with the prices. Hopefully we'll deliver it for as cheap as we can because we want everyone just to get together and enjoy life. That's what's up. So look at some tasty food's going to be on the grill. And now I'm going to hand it over to Dumba Adoniz. That's it. Dubin, sorry. Dubin, Chef Adoniz, Sinclair. Dubin, Chef Adoniz, Sinclair. Apologise for my lack of memory. I'm not good with stuff. Please, take away.
So my first piece is called Hunger Games. And may the odds forever be in your favour. Do you feel like they favour you? Or the sense they're constantly mocking? Everyone, her or me, constantly pitting against one another, call it competition or tournament, and hide what we're meant to see. You've got to go through it to get to the end to it. Kiss your cheek and now that they love you, but killing you. When back's the turn, when you thought that I was your friend, sadly, I feel that we was trained for life. To stop and slow down the end. I'm trying to survive the games of this city capital. I call it capital. Become a rebel when trying to do more than survive. This is living. And then they're trying to stay alive. The reality of TV, war are just alike. Fear mongering to just do it. A swoosh and training you till it's all Nike. It's no ruse when kids are getting ended before puberty. Divided into fractions, minus in us to equal no unity, but make a movie of it, and now suddenly it's much too because it's sensitive subject. Check their state of affairs, body feels for sale, like we letting them turn us into a sublet. Brittany, gladiators, UK is the Colosseum for their games, pandemic is their panem, every borough is a district, fighting cells and others as different tribes, 13 district, but the last is a secret. Why is that not surprising? They do all these things to us and they act shocked when there's an uprising. 13 is hiding in plain sight for our protection. Safety. For being watched doesn't mean safe. It's just seen as merely just control. History has changed, but similar days of old, catching fire. While you smoking, without no trace of the weed. Never about the people, as politics and man's everlasting greed. Must rate it as more tunes for the more bloodshed and gore. Living in fear. As we have to lead on love, no more. Forget Oxfam, sending food and supplies abroad. So many of us are in hunger games. We starving, not eating, fully going without. Watered down agenda sprinkled without no chance to truly sprout. The food, it don't spread far enough. The cost of living is on the rise. So every day becomes so tough. When you can't think straight because your stomach is aching is rough. Kids ain't getting 3 meals a day. Hard to focus on anything when your belly has a say. Adults going without, lucky to get some or even get one. Pretend we're eating when you're not around, but those are, the money is gone. Gas is Peter, electric is Paul. Pan M is robbing both Peter, Malik and Paul. Got us fighting for bread, crazy times when you're not trusted. Words work as actions contradict what's being said. Living life on a latch and the dreams are on pause. Call us the problem as the shit existence is the cause. Boom. To stop the peacemakers coming, evicting, kicking off doors, foraging for food as feels famished, frightens the thought of the future. Ever thought the social systems would rather see you choke on your spit before you give us an actual shit? A birth certificate makes dying profitable, as it's fully legit. Strangers, things did happen here. No stranger would it be if we met at the midnight in the hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree? Where dead men called out for these, lovers has to flee. We're singing for our supper, but yet we are not free. We're singing for our supper, and yet we are not free. If you're not going to help us, then truly let us be. Hunger Games.
Nice. Yeah. That was Chef Adoniz. This is Life Talks. No, let's get the whole name. I'm sorry, Chef Adoniz, man. Wow.
That's it, bro. That's it, bro. You said it. I'll take you. That's it.
That was Chef Adoniz.
End on that. Chef
My
Adoniz.
G, this is Life Talks. Over there we got the wizard. Come on. And me, Fawole. Thank you so much, man. My G, Chef Adoniz. Yeah, in the house. No, thank you.